Howdy. You'll, you'll have to forgive the angle tonight. It's a bit warm in here, and I don't feel like pulling my blanket up. I'm actually about to turn in early for the night. It's only like 10:30 or something like that. Here, I can check real quick before I take my glasses off this time. No, it's about 11. But still, that's, before midnight's early for me. Today's been good, though. Just laying around, resting after yesterday. Because, like, in hindsight, it doesn't seem like we did much, but the, pitchfork slash, think pitchfork, but it's made for hay, so it had, twice the prongs. That thing had to weigh, 10, 15 pounds. And that's not heavy until you're routinely pushing it in, picking it up, holding it, about chest high, swinging it around for about 2 hours. It gets pretty heavy. The smoke did not help. And I feel like I'm determined to get a cold as slowly as possible. Every day is just a little bit worse. Like today, my ear bothered me, and that's probably just the smoke or whatever. But that's rare. My sister's the one that has ear troubles. Her ears were a massive pain growing up. And she had all this trouble when she was a kid. She had tubes put in 2 different times, I think. Which I guess if you're not familiar, it's not a hugely invasive procedure. I don't even know if how far they sedate you for it, but they basically put a little hole next to your eardrum, I think, to equalize, to keep the pressure equal. And it's usually because your inner ear, if you don't know, has tubes that go to your throat. That's why when your ears pop and you hold your nose and swallow, you get ear pressure stuff. Or if you hold your nose and try to blow, it'll push your ears out. So because they're connected to your throat. And she had so much sinus trouble and so many ear infections as a kid, due to those tubes clogging up and stuff. She had tubes put in as a way to keep pressure equal between your inner and outer ear. Bless her heart, she had a lot of trouble when she was a kid. She had a weak eye to where if she wasn't focusing, one of them would just kind of drift off. It was either because the muscle was wound too tight or not tight enough or something. They did minor corrective surgery for that. She had something with her teeth. She had her gallbladder out when she was 14. Medically, she's the problem child. The worst I ever had, well, I guess to be fair, when it comes to a disease, I have had the worst one. Because, medically, my record was spotless until 2016, when my doctor thought fat on my liver was hepatitis. That was a fun 3 weeks. Jeez, that was great. And then, either later that year or the year before was everything with the tooth that led to colitis. So, I've had the worst disease between the two of us. But she just had, it was just always something with her medically. And so for me to be keeping this, that's a long way of saying for me to be keeping this cold like stuff, but I don't feel bad. Like, I don't feel feverish. I don't feel like crap. I'm stuffed up, and today my ear hurt. So like, if it's gonna be a cold, I kind of wish it'd just come on and just come and go, so I could be done with it. But whatever. Honestly, the big reason I'm probably turning in tonight is I finally finished all of the story in Phantasy Star Online 2. And I was immediately hit with the, okay, why am I still playing this? I'm, I hit level 97 Phantom today. And, I tried playing around with a couple of the other classes, and they're just not as fun as Phantom. Um, I'll probably eventually go back to Braver because that'll at least be ranged. But even still, I'm worried that I feel like if I'm going to play anything other than Phantom, I'll need to take a short break to mentally distance myself from that playstyle, so I can go in sort of fresh and learn something, and instead of like trying to play Phantom with other classes and weapons, because that was a thing that kept happening. I just kept relying on muscle memory, and it wasn't working. Um, but I don't know. I kind of wish we knew. So, like, aside from it launching outside of Japan, I didn't really know much about the announcement surrounding it, and I didn't realize that we're getting an Expanse sequel. Like, New Genesis, it doesn't have a release date yet. It's pegged for this year, but it's like, and keep in mind I could be wrong about this, but basically it's like a pseudo sequel in that, as far as and what it attempts to do visually and gameplay wise, it's may as well be a sequel, but it's still going to be directly tied to Phantasy Star Online 2, to the point of carrying characters over back and forth. A napkin. I keep napkins over here, and every now and then they'll move weird, and I'll catch it up the corner of my eye and think something's in here. But like, it's going to be a big step up graphically, and the gameplay is going to be different. Like, I don't know what they're doing as far as like class systems. I don't know if it'll just, instead of instead of every map kind of being hallways, it's going to be like open fields or something. It's like going to be a big step up without having to start over, essentially. So, not in the sense of not having to start over, it's more like an expansion. And when it comes to being a big step up, it's like a sequel. So, more or less, as I understand it, and I've not looked into it much. Speaking of, I didn't realize there was a Pokemon Direct, but apparently one happened, and I've just kind of skimmed articles about there's the Sinnoh remake that we were all expecting, and I can already tell people are going to be up in arms about how it looks, but I kind of like it. And above all, I'm just happy it's not Let's Go. And I figured that would carry a lot of people, but I constantly underestimate the internet's ability to bitch about everything. Like, the latest Smash announcement, I don't know her, I've not played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I want to, but like, I get it. It's another anime swordsman, but I figured at least the, Zelda Sheik style character swapping would be enough for people to go, oh, okay, at least it's interesting. Because, like, Byleth was just another anime swordsman, and from Fire Emblem on top of all of that. And Byleth managed to play pretty uniquely. It wasn't just Marth, but he had a chainsword instead. Like, I think Sakurai did really well, and he was, not exactly, uh, he wasn't exactly evasive on the fact that Nintendo said, okay, the next one's going to be Byleth, you don't have a say in this. He was tactful about it, but he was, it was pretty clear that that was what happened. And I think he did a wonderful job, because when the rumors were going around that it was going to be a character from Three Houses, I'm like, oh, they're going to have to pick one of the leaders, and it's going to make everyone mad. Everyone will be angry no matter who it is. But instead, they worked in, like, all of the house leaders' unique weapons and everything with Byleth. Yeah, the main thing was the sword, but in a good representation of how flexible the main character is when in like Fates and Awakening, and where you can just be everything. Also uses like heavy axe moves, the spear moves, which had some really good range on it, and the bow. So it was kind of more like Link, but more melee weapons. And, yeah, people still bitched about it, but I think Sakurai did really, really good with the character, and that's why, I have faith that, even Sephiroth, who was, it was like, oh, another sword guy. Like, he really underutilizes that sword. Meaning, he's got a lot of other stuff. And, like, it's so obvious that no matter who you hand, like, you could, like, pick the Cool Spot. Remember Cool Spot? Of course you don't. But basically, Cool Spot was just this red dot that I think it was 7-Up tried to make into a mascot, like Chester Cheetah and whatnot. 7-Up being a Sprite-ish soda. I don't know what it tasted like. I never had 7-Up. I imagine it was the same thing as like Mountain Dew and Sprite and Mellow Yellow, and just like, some sort of citrusy nonsense. But it was this red dot that wore sunshades. And he has a game. And like, you could say, alright, Sakurai, Cool Spot has to be the next character in Smash. I guarantee you he'd find a way to make it at least interesting. Like, the man's good at what he does. Gotta give him props. Like, and, there's still 2 more fighters in this pass, I think? I'm pretty sure this is the 3rd. I'm pretty sure the first one was Ming Ming, I think that's her name, the ARMS character, and then it was Sephiroth, because Byleth was the last one of the first pack. Yeah. So there's still 2 more characters in this pack. 5 per. So, yeah, there's still 2 more characters. So, and we've gotten people. Like, I get that most of them are swordsmen, but people manage to forget that we got Joker and Banjo-Kazooie and King Steve. I forgot about Steve. No, okay, so there's 1 more fighter left. Like, freaking Steve from Minecraft. And you know what? Sakurai made it fun. Like, he he just like seriously, he's so good at making. And then, like I said, we got Banjo Kazooie, and we got Joker, and there's another. Who's the other one? Terry. We got Terry. I get that, you know, out of the 9 we've gotten so far, uh, Sephiroth, Pyra, I think her name is, the newest one, Byleth, and Hero. I get that 4 of them, just under half of them, have been anime swordsmen. But, like, you kind of have to look at even, like, maybe, Byleth aside, because God knows, look, I'm a fan of Fire Emblem, and Three Houses is a fantastic game, but I absolutely understand the too much Fire Emblem argument. Like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't make me mad, but I don't think it's worth like snapping a Switch in half. But like, I get it. You know, but like you had Hero, which brought in Dragon Quest. I almost said Dragon Age. That's an entirely different game. And with the skins, they basically included 4 Dragon Quest games. You know. With Sephiroth, we actually have a second Final Fantasy character. Yeah, it would have been. I think it would have been nicer if it was from a different Final Fantasy, but at the same time, we also have more than just the basic battle theme and the basic boss theme in the game now. There are a lot. I think he came with 6 tracks. Including a fantastic remix of Cosmo Canyon. I think a really good version of Tifa's theme too. Like just some like genuinely great music instead of just handing us 2 token tracks with Sephiroth. And then, we have a second from the Xenoblade universe. I think everyone was expecting Rex, but like I don't know, he probably would have had a sword, and people still would have complained, because that's what people do. Anyway, getting back on topic, I kind of like the idea of, I kind of like the art direction they're going in with the remakes of Diamond and Pearl, because it really is, that's what they looked like on the DS. It's just kind of taken to they are a little Funko-ish, if I'm honest. But I do appreciate that it is, at least within the series, a unique style. And the battle, everyone in battle looks like normal people. But yeah, I'm just really glad it wasn't Let's Go Sinnoh. I'm glad it's, the full Pokemon experience. But they also announced, like, a Pokemon MMO? Like, an open world Pokemon MMO? And I have not looked more into that, and I definitely need to. Because what I skim read, that looks fantastic. That looks like what I thought Sword and Shield was gonna be. Like when they announced the wild area, basically this new game they're talking about, I believe it's called Legends, is what I imagined Sword and Shield was gonna be when they talked about the wild area. Just massive open world, fully immersive Pokemon experience. And like in my head it just sounds fantastic. Really, really does. I kind of hope I'm kind of torn because just like not on this specific topic, but like I've always wanted like I want to call it a fuller Pokemon experience where not as in depth, but like you actually can play as your Pokemon, even if it's just beat 'em up style. Um, because I was gonna say kind of like Pokken, but Pokken was, that's next level. Um, or like at the very least, um, about ever since I was a kid, I wanted the battles to look like the show. You know what I mean? Like even if it's the same structure, but I also understand that would be a metric fuck ton of work. Or would it? I don't know. There's got to be like smart learning systems that can do some of the work. But I figured at this point it's not like a deal breaker or anything, but I figured at this point it wouldn't be like, especially when it moved to main console, it wouldn't still be, you know, you tell your Pokemon to attack, it like jumps up and down on its side of the screen, and then the enemy takes damage. It's kind of hoping we'd be a little more involved than that at this point. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Good night. I will see you all tomorrow.